second segment of the Oh No radio show where things tend to get a little bit weird. I'm joined, of course, again by my good buddy Ty and my good buddy, Tom Barille.
Hey.
And God damn it, I feel like we're joined by somebody else that we haven't seen in quite a long time.
In the flesh.
Oh my God, Johnny, how are you? Johnny Moonbags, everybody.
Johnny Moonbags here for first time in a little while, right?
Yeah. I thought it was interesting because I thought we were gonna have you on at the very end of the show, but apparently
Now you want me to come back?
No, you're here now. You're here now, Johnny. So maybe put that microphone down a little closer to your face. You know?
Can you fit it over a hat?
Yeah. You're looking.
Good.
You're
That's
looking
good,
good. You're looking good. It's good. It's good to have you. How have things been for Johnny Moonbags? And you got any updates for us?
Well, first of all, I got a new job.
Oh, got a new job. Okay.
Broadcasting in Miami now.
Oh, you're
doing sports, weather, traffic. I'm pretty much hitting all of your news bases.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to see that. Who picked you up? What's the news station?
WMFCI.
WMFCI. I haven't heard of.
That's a lot of call letters, Johnny.
We got more because we're better than you.
Oh, gotcha. Makes sense.
We got more letters because it's better.
It sounds like it seems like we lost Ty on this call. I hope he didn't die. You know what? I bet you his phone died. I would put money on.
I would put hard money on.
Where did he go?
I don't know. But Johnny, first off, you're even quieter than you were before now, Tom. So
hold on, let me try some with my hat.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
About me, Johnny.
I'm talking about you. And so yeah, we need to get your level up there, Tom. I don't know what the hell we can do about it now at this point.
All right, let me fuck around with it.
See, that just sounded just fine. Like
you need to get on my level, Tom.
Is it louder now?
Yeah, it's a lot louder now. I think you're actually getting there.
Okay, I don't know. I just touched something and
it. No, seriously, it's that actually made a difference.
Really? That's weird. I touched the same thing I've been touching. Maybe it just liked me this time.
Maybe. Johnny, do you still have some? Are you still in the news? Do you have any news for us this evening? Are we going to be blessed with a little bit of Johnny Moonbags news?
Yeah. I brought some stories with me if you guys would like to hear them.
All right. Well, let me give you your intro music here, just so you've got to have that. Ladies and gentlemen, with the Oh No News, it's Johnny Moonbags.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the news.
Okay.
How have you guys been? Has the show been doing pretty good without my news? And don't lie, I'll know if you're lying.
I think it's been going swimmingly. But it is always pleasant to have your news back with us.
Well, I'm glad I could be here tonight because, sometimes I have extra news stories that you all need to hear.
All
right.
So. News one.
News one.
You guys remember how this goes with news one?
News one. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you cut. Oh. Well, so apparently, as you all know, there have been some protests. Yeah. Protests going on around the country with all of us Some people are protesting because the police are bad. Some people are protesting because they want some haircuts. But in Pinellas County, there was a dog protest over the weekend.
A dog protest?
Like
Yeah.
a bunch of dogs protesting.
Yeah, dogs were marching through the streets. No owners either, which was the weirder part. They were barking, and they didn't have signs, so you couldn't really tell why they were there. But they were running through the streets. It was found out later that it was not protests. There are apparently just roving bands of dogs in Pinellas County.
And what, do you know what they're angry about, or if they're angry about anything? They're not that angry about anything. They're just there's some dogs in Pinellas County. Is that what you're...
I would assume that they're mad because more walkies, less walkies, treats,
Okay.
racial injustice more than likely. The dogs probably are sick of that.
I would think so.
Much like we
Do
all
you
are.
think? Do you think that the dogs are like racist against each other?
Oh sure.
Like Rottweilers don't like Labradors for reasons.
They think Chihuahuas are lazy.
Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
wow,
Well,
that one was kind of pointed.
yeah, right. That's a controversial statement. I feel like if any dog's the laziest, it's like the hound dog with the droopy ears, and that's the laziest of the dogs. Like he's the old redneck dog on the porch,
Yeah.
and then
He probably has a Confederate flag bandana that he wears around his neck.
I would assume so. Can't go to NASCAR events anymore, apparently.
Aw.
Sad about. It's very yeah. I know.
Thank you for segueing into news 2 for me.
Oh, news 2. Here we go. News 2.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, all the rednecks are pretty upset because you can't fly no more Confederate flags at the NASCAR. You guys hear about this one?
Yeah, I think I did hear some stuff. I saw some reports that NASCAR was no longer allowing the flying of the Confederate flag at their events, which I have to applaud because it's an outdated, silly flag for even to even be there.
Yeah.
Surprising move, though. I mean, surprising.
It is a surprising move.
Who knew
And-
NASCAR was so woke?
So I went to Daytona. You know, we got a big old NASCAR track there in Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to some of these uppity rednecks.
Did
and
you?
they are uppity.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of the heritage being displayed there.
Okay.
But they were more upset about there's a Black Lives Matter NASCAR now, which is I don't know if they're quite on the ball with this one because I don't think there's a big African American viewership to NASCAR. Do you guys think so?
I would say that it's probably a fairly low amount of black ladies and gentlemen that watch NASCAR, and I don't think that that's a controversial statement.
No. Well, that is pretty controversial, kind of. But
Is it?
I think it's
that wasn't a point. That was a burp. Sorry.
Oh.
So Walson writes through that into News 3.
Oh, News 3. News 3. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah,
Yo,
I mean,
yo,
pretty much the only
wait,
point was that the rednecks.
Ty
are
wants to
mad.
comment. Ty wants to
I
comment.
just want to say you saw that motherfucker that quit today too, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
That was the funniest shit about the whole thing. The guy that had never won anything ever, like not one.
Yeah. And then I saw somebody say, "Oh, what are you just so tired of getting participation trophies that you fucking found a real reason to quit NASCAR?" Okay.
Yeah, his record was like 0-28 or something like that.
Yeah, you'll be missed eating everybody else's dust.
Exactly. Exactly.
That shit was funny.
Yeah. Fucking hoo.
Just so we're all clear, Johnny Moonbag does not support the Confederate flag.
Oh,
I hope he doesn't.
I'm glad. Well, we wouldn't have you on the show, Johnny, if you did. So yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
I redact that statement. I support it in one form.
Oh God.
And that's as a bikini. Rebel flag bikinis are still okay.
Yeah. You're making the decree.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I'll say it from this mountaintop or that mountaintop, or whichever mountaintop I find myself adorning, because that's how you do with mountaintops. Adorn them.
News 3.
That one?
Mm-hmm.
That one. News 3. News 3 is actually sponsored and brought to you by Old Forester whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Moonbags approved.
Okay, Moonbags, Old Forester whiskey.
Old Forester.
Classic.
Can't say I'm that familiar with that one.
That's like the shit that like the old janitor at your elementary school had in his back pocket when he was mowing the lawn.
It's plastic
You hear
bottle.
that? That's quality.
Plastic bottle.
Old Forester stands for quality. Quality whiskey for quality guys.
Honestly, Old Forester sounds like he has a Confederate flag in his fucking.
Yeah.
No, Old Forester wouldn't do that.
I'm pretty sure the Klan actually just makes that, to be honest.
In a distillery or some shit.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
It's distilled with hate. That's why it burns.
Oh. What's news 3, buddy?
Wait, there's news 3?
News.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
Or was it a shameful plug for Old Forester whiskey?
No, there's definitely news 3.
News 3.
In local news, local to you, not local to me. There were some tornadoes around here.
Yeah,
lake.
we talked about him a little bit on the show earlier, Johnny.
No, so you stole my news story from early? You guys are real dicks.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Took my whole. Did you know I was coming?
Maybe no. Well, I didn't know. I didn't think you were coming that soon. I thought we would talk about it because it was so local and close to us. And maybe I thought that you could. Well, maybe you can add to the story and some things that we didn't know about.
Well, I don't know if you knew, but the tornadoes are punishment.
Oh, punishment for what? From Mother Nature or
the government.
Okay.
HARP.
Harp.
You know who HARP's run by? I'll let you in on it.
Hillary Clinton.
Oprah.
Oprah runs HARP.
Harpo. I see where you're going.
Mm-hmm. You see, Tom knows. He's smart.
Right here.
He's got it.
No, Johnny.
So Oprah was mad because there aren't enough people in Central Florida turning into the HARP network. So maybe she sends a couple tornadoes through, gets them on the go, gets them to somewhere where they can watch her network.
It's pretty sound logic. It is.
That's why they hit the lakes. That's why they hit the bars.
Why? Why the lakes? Because of Ricky Lake?
Yeah, I mean, that's an old beef that she's trying to reignite. Get the '90s talk show daytime thing going again.
What if it was Sally Jesse Raphael though?
Well, that's why she attacked that art museum too.
Okay.
because of the Raphael paintings.
Phil Donahue, he's not, innocent either.
He's lame. He's too cool for this. He didn't get involved.
What about Maury?
Povich?
See,
He's
Maury, there he's like on the team with her, and he was calling out like the facts about the hurricanes, and he just sends those manila envelopes to people.
Yeah.
With their results.
So the hurricane was not its father.
That's not my father.
Okay, good.
Could be yours? No, you don't look like a tornado.
Thomas D. Barille III could be an actual tornado. I don't even know.
Dude, I've always waited for like a Hurricane Owen too. By the way, like I feel like Hurricane Owen is just gonna be a cool party. Like everybody would be having a good time during Hurricane Owen.
Hurricane Owen looks like it would blow a lot of wind around and then eventually just not show up.
Not the most inaccurate thing. Thank you, Johnny Moonbags, for being with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the news presented by Johnny Moonbags.
Why, you beautiful fool? Why?
I love me some Johnny. I love me some Johnny Moonbags. Whenever he shows up, it's
I'm picking up some Old Forester, man. I just want to taste it.
Yeah, me too. I bet you can start an engine with that. Like that's that type of whiskey for sure.
I know what you're getting into the minute you crack it.
You know what's interesting is like my
It's not that horrible though.
talking about whiskey. Interestingly enough, like I've been fascinated because like all over my Facebook lately, I guess it's like maybe just people have discovered it or like it's a meme or something. I don't know what the deal is, but it seems like everybody's trying Mountain Dew and whiskey together. Like it's which is actually what it was made for.
Really?
Like, yeah. Because Mountain Dew,
delicious.
Mountain Dew is a slang for moonshine. So it was, I think the original, if you look it up, the original Mountain Dew was made as a mixer specifically for moonshine, which is essentially, of course, like very close to. I mean, it's whiskey. I mean, it's what it is, really, isn't it?
I guess. I mean, it sounds like two strange profiles, but if they mix together well, fuck it.
It
See,
does.
but that's what's fucking weird is like that was when I started drinking at like 19 years old. That's one of the first things people were like, yo, if you like whiskey, try it with Mountain Dew. And it's worked forever. So it just seems weird that people are just now getting a hold of it.
I don't think I've ever tried it.
I've never tried it. Ever.
I think I have, but I didn't want to. That makes sense.
I know a lot of people mix like, of course you've got your, whiskey Coke or what have you. You've got, and even a lot of people use Dr. Pepper, as well. But
Ginger ale, man.
Yeah, whiskey and ginger is good. Like that's actually a really nice, drink. But
I can
also,
see that going.
Yeah, but I've never tried it with Mountain Dew. I think I might now. I'm just hey, like a little bit of, especially I guess with like it's probably made for your high octane like cheaper whiskey, I would imagine, than your
Old Forester.
Talking about cheap whiskey? Try
Old
Old
Forester.
Wow, you and Johnny Moonbags like that brand. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He left it when
I say.
for dropping by the for the home studio.
He's really weird. I would get really nervous about how he continually knocks you unconscious and then he just takes your place for a while. That's weird, man.
I just appreciate the naps.
All right, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you got a little. He got a smoke break, in between all this. He's fine. I
have a question. So the mixture of the Mountain Dew and the whiskey, now, is it a different concoction when it's like one of the 100 different fucking flavors of Mountain Dew, like Code Red and all these others?
Oh, yes. Yeah, those I don't think apply to the whiskey game.
Okay. Yeah. It's got to be straight up Mountain Dew.
I would think so.
Okay.
But I also wonder if maybe, because new Mountain Dew, like I imagine it's got to taste different than like the original OG Mountain Dew.
Sure.
Well, they make that just like they do, like those Cokes, right? Like the Mexican Coke. Like there was a while there that was like Hess had it a lot where you could
the
buy,
white can Mountain Dew.
Yeah, but it was made, I guess, with like the real sugar, and it was that's probably a lot closer to I would guess the original recipe of Mountain Dew. Okay. So that would be what I would think you would want to go with that rather than like your.
Now I kind of want Baja Blast and whiskey.
I don't know.
Maybe Everclear or something like that. You could probably do that.
You got to do something to Everclear.
That's just hunch punch. Do you remember that term back in college? The old hunch punch.
Oh yeah, totally.
A lot of hunch punch.
I remember my very first apartment. We made Crystal Light and grain alcohol, and that stuff is, bro. So bad, so fucking horribly hungover.
Yeah. Some punches they'll take you to the dark side quick.
Mm-hmm.
Quicker than you want them to.
Plus, I don't know if you've ever thrown up Crystal Light in any capacity. It looks like blood.
Oh.
Like coming, like, especially if you're shithouse wasted and you throw up on yourself. You then have this thought like, oh God, what did I just do to myself? Oh God.
Yeah.
I've thrown up my insides now.
Good times.
Yeah, always good times. Yeah, I've had that once or twice where I have thrown up so violently that I think of like bursted a blood vessel, and then it's like, good. Yeah, oh yeah. Like, it's probably like going to the hospital type stuff, but I was fine.
That was fine.
I walked it off.
Yeah, it was fine. I needed to ask you guys a question, and this is a question just, as friends and friends of the podcast, people that listen. Is it okay to call other friends' pets dipshits? Like, to make fun of their pets and call them dipshits? Is that, like, societally acceptable, or how do you guys, where do you stand on this issue?
I would probably want to know that they like chastise their dog in that manner as well before I'm like, your dog's a fucking retard.
Well, what if they don't and they think that it's like glorious like creature that's like, no, your dog or cat is just a dipshit. Like, because I got, you're all familiar with Hugh. He's my neighbor across the street, and he has 3 cats. Yeah. And 2 of the 3 cats today, for hours, basically just laid in the road, like the whole day, like, and spread out, like laid in the road. And I sent him like pictures, like, dude, your cats are dipshits. And I sent him pictures of them doing that. And yeah, I guess. Maybe I don't know if he was busy or not, but seriously, these cats lay in the street for hours, and I think it's perfectly acceptable for me to call these cats dipshits.
Was he upset by the fact that you
a little bit
called his cats names?
Yeah, a little bit.
He said that he was upset that you called them dipshits.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the story. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest though. Like already, I mean, sure, you called them dipshits, but you're also kind of looking out for their well-being.
Well, that was the whole point of the whole conversation. Exactly.
Run over by a car, so at the same time, it's like, not to be mean, I like you, but like, don't be a dipshit and let your cats lay on the road and they're risking their lives. Because I mean, it's just gonna take some asshole driver to run one over, and then it's like, oh, well. That sucks. Now you got to live with that for the rest of your life.
You see, like 3 or 4 cars have to like basically hit the brakes because of these dumbass cats that don't even want to move when there's a car coming towards them either.
Absolutely, it is.
Maybe they're tired of life.
Maybe
you're fucking up the day, bro.
But they're just like neighborhood cats, right? Because those are the same ones that like just come over to your place all the time.
Well, they used to until I really started spraying them down with the hose, and now they know the sound of the the spigot outside. It goes click 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 click, they know that sound, and as soon as they hear that, that's all it's needed to vacate the premises. But
it had to get to that, you know what I mean?
It did.
Had to become that, which, I mean, hey, it's your place. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know it.
There are those indoor-outdoor cats that are, like, they're not feral. Like, he takes care of them, and, like, they're nice cats. Like, they're really sweethearts, but, like, they're kind of allowed to do whatever the fuck they want and roam the neighborhood, and then at night they come in, and he calls them in, and they do actually come, and they know where their food's at, motherfucker, like, they go in, and, but from time to time, like, there's just, like instances like that where they're laying in the street, like, I'm like, dude, come on, you can't, I don't know, like, all cats in my mind, they get the hose, now, like, that's what it is. But if somebody, Tom, like you have Stella, your dog.
Yeah.
If I were to call Stella a dipshit, would you be offended?
No, because I call her a dipshit all the time.
Okay.
So she rightfully so is a dipshit when she wants to be, and it's just kind of like I don't take out affront by it. It's like I'll tell you, the only time I've ever gotten mad at anybody for saying anything to my dog is when I lived in Florida and we were at the dog park at the Fleet People's Park, and somebody kicked my dog and called it an asshole.
Well, that's different. It
was like, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass, like that.
Yeah.
Well, you put a hand on your dog or anybody's pet, like that's completely different. Words are words. They don't like words are actually very hurtful to human beings because they understand what those words mean. If I call your dog a dipshit, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, dipshit, how's it going, motherfucker? Like you're a stupid piece of shit, aren't you?" Oh, he's not gonna understand. He's going to the tone of the voice.
And it's like honestly, all animals, dogs and cats, it's all the intonation of your voice. You could say, "Hey, little piece of fucking garbage, hey," and they're gonna run over to you and jump up on you and love the shit out of you. It's just. It's all how you act toward the animal. I mean, it's like if somebody just came over and religiously was saying like, "Hey, you piece of shit," hey, I'd be like, "Do you have a problem?" Like, I think there's something.
Well, that's actually kind of where I'm at. That's what I do.
That's hilarious. But I wouldn't care. You could call Stella whatever you want.
Do you? I mean, with Moose, Ty. If I were to call Moose a dipshit, would you be offended? Or
he is
any
also a dipshit in his own right, but
like you've had
I don't know.
Burton was kind of a dipshit. He was a funny dipshit, but he was kind of a dipshit. Your old little, what was he again?
Sweetheart.
He was a Boston
Terrier pug. Yeah, he was a Boston Terrier mixed with a pug.
There's another one in there too, but yeah.
And he might not have been a dipshit, but he exerted dipshit qualities where he would do that the prairie dog thing, which was the fun.
The funniest shit ever.
It's so good every time. You're like, incredible. All right, Bert.
Yeah. What was it, Cora? Your other dog?
Cora.
That one tried to bite me one time, so I never liked Cora.
They were both sweet dogs.
No, that dog.
Really were.
That dog was a menace to society, and
no, you shut your mouth.
What I've always said is dogs have a very good sense of character, so I question you.
I know you had a pet recently pass away, Mikey. But if I were to call her a dipshit, would you be offended?
No, I wouldn't be offended. I mean, she did some derpy things, and I was totally okay. But it's a dog, like. Unless you're being mean and like if you were saying it with some hateful shit in your voice,
if you were yelling and like
then that's when I'd be upset. But I'd be upset because you're yelling at my dog, not because of what you're saying.
Right.
Now, is it cool if you call people like young kids dipshits?
I don't know. There's a line there.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's some dipshits out there, though.
It depends on what they do, I guess. I feel like it's a really good question, though, Mikey, because there are kids that are certainly dipshits that you want to call dipshits, but even as harsh as I am, I don't think I would ever cross that line.
Now, do you call their parent? Now, do you instead say like, "Oh, you're a dipshit for letting your kid do that"?
I think that's
where I think you would go.
I think that's probably what you do.
Yeah, because I mean, you're the parent, it's just like, it's like having a puppy. It's like, I don't know, at some point you're responsible for that thing's behavior, whether you like it or not. That kid is not of age to just have that kind of faculty where it knows it's being a little piece of shit,
And I think that like you're allowed to call all those people dipshits behind closed doors too. Like,
oh sure,
if my neighbor's kid's a dipshit and I wouldn't maybe say it to the parent's face or wouldn't say it to the kid's face, but you're allowed like, oh, little Tommy down. Sorry, I didn't mean that, Tom. Little Johnny down the street. He's a bit of a dipshit. Like, between me and my wife, that's fine, right? Like, that's okay.
Totally. I mean, my cousins, like, back home, like, of course, it's my youngest cousin has a kid, and he shouldn't have had a kid, and that's mean to say, but it was like one of those, like, oops, we're gonna have a kid, and stayed with the girlfriend and raised this little girl, and it's awful because I feel like every time I'm home and I see her, it's just one of those things where, like, she's a fucking maniac all the time, and she's like, just lawless, and she's crazy, and she screams, and all this other, like, devil child kind of shit, and it's like, every time we leave, everybody's pretty quiet about it, but I swear to God, it's always that car ride back, and my mom goes at it. She's talking shit about the kid. My dad talks shit about her. My sister talks shit about her. I talk shit about her.
My niece was like that. Thankfully, she grew out of it, and she like became a fairly balanced individual, and now she's like, now she's approaching adulthood. She's like that, 18, 19, somewhere in that region. And she's got a pretty decent head on her shoulders. But when she was like 6 and I would have been like 18, around that age, no, probably a little older, 18, 19, somewhere in there, myself, when she was like 5, 6 years old, she was a little psychopath, man. Like, she went to the kitchen and found a butter knife and grabbed a butter knife and threatened to kill me with the butter knife.
I'd have laughed.
And I did, but I had to, like, in that situation, you kind of have to tell my aunt and uncle, like, hey, just to let you know, like, well, you weren't around here, like, that little, like,
that's pretty crazy.
Damien basically came out of nowhere and trying to, kill me with a butter knife. Like, she didn't actually like thrust at me or anything. She didn't try and attack me, but she just held it up, and she looked like really intense and like I will kill you. And it's because I made fun of her. I made a little joke. Like, I made fun of her a little bit, and so she's like, I will kill you for like insulting me. Like, okay, all right, I'm not gonna spend.
No,
the
and
night
you
at
put
this
her
house.
down though, right? Like you like.
No, I was scared of her. I wasn't going anywhere near her.
Away and like.
But you didn't have a little sister. You grew up with an older brother. I gotta say, growing up with a little sisters get crazy, man. My little sister definitely chased me with a real knife.
That's probably what it was.
With a real knife. Yeah. And I took her down.
I actually said she was my niece. She's technically my cousin. But because of, like, you know how, like, families are weird with divorces and stuff, and, like, she feels more like a niece, but she's actually technically a cousin, just because of the age difference between her and my cousins, and it's the second marriage and all that type of deal. But, yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. And yeah, I don't know. I still, to this day, I don't know if I'd trust her. Like, I'd sleep with one eye open if I was ever staying in the same
her
house.
First love better watch the fuck out, man. It scorns her the wrong way. He's goner.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yep.
Do you guys hear about a couple more things before we get out of here for the night? Did you hear about Cops and Live PD have officially been canceled?
Yep. Amazing. End of a fucking era, dude.
Cops in
Was
particular,
actual
bro.
Cops
33
itself
seasons.
was still on.
It was still
Cops. Yeah, dude, I watch it every week. You killing me? Like, kidding me? Like,
Crazy.
I'm a Cops fanatic. I like it.
Bad boys.
Bad
I
boy.
thought it became Live PD or some shit. Like,
No.
yeah.
No. I remember growing up. I remember in the 80s. Like, I remember the premiere of Cops, and that was in like the mid 80s, almost late 80s when it first.
I used to love when they would do like it was like the newer episodes of Cops, but they would like pepper in like an old late 80s, early 90s little chunk right in there, and you're like, yes.
Because those are the good ones. Those are the early 90s ones. Remember the guy in New Jersey that he was a cop? They used to follow him a lot, and he was back in the early 90s, and he had there couldn't be a more cop haircut. Like the sides that are just like you chiseled it out of stone almost. Like the cop haircut, and he was this like, he was kind of a dickhead. And he was like, like back in the day, Cops was amazing. Like the old episodes, because there was a certain point where they people wanted to be on it. So like before like social media took off, and before that, when it was just like, oh shit, there they are, hey! Like they don't care about blurring their faces or anything of that sort, and they're just like, yeah, put me on the show. Like there came a point where that kind of like shifted, but then I felt like it came back almost in like more recent years, especially with Live PD and whatnot. That became kind of the same type of deal, right. And I do wonder about it, because obviously they're doing it as a response towards the Black Lives Matter movement and the horrendous, treatment of black people from the, multiple police departments across the country. I understand this completely, why they have in their brains that this is a good idea. But I'm actually kind of the opposite opinion, that they should have kept them on to then demonstrate, hey, look, this is a cop doing great work within the community. This is a person who is, doing good in the world, and it would help the police force, and like by canceling both of these shows, I kind of weirdly think it does more harm than good. And maybe it's just like, maybe I'm being a little insensitive to it as well in that regard, but I'd like to know all of your thoughts on this, because it's a hard one for me to process. Like I can't necessarily in my head justify why especially Live PD, that motherfucking show was hugely popular, doing great ratings, and for it to be taken down and essentially canceled, I do wonder, like, is this the right move or not? What do you guys think of that? Not to get too heavy, but
I think it was good entertainment, but
right.
Even though it's good entertainment, it was definitely skewed by the way that, black people are definitely tormented more by the cops than we are. Yeah. And it'd be kind of funny to see it, like you were saying, taken back, but like normal ass white people getting the shit beat out of them, and shit like that. That would have been kind of fun. But
like, why wouldn't you almost do like a special for like the protest to show how we're handling these wrong. Like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess they don't want to take that risk, but you could do a lot of good, I think, by showing that side if they were actually doing good and have, and maintaining law and order while keeping it peaceful and not like, pepper spraying or tear gassing people. And, like, I think that could be a positive thing for this whole movement. Am I alone in that? I guess I don't know. I'm sorry. If maybe I'm alone. I don't
know. Yeah, fuck it.
Mikey's talking, but I can't hear him.
Mikey's muted. He muted himself.
Sorry. Nope. I'm here. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, my mic picked up. I was talking with Janine about this last night. I think they were kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of scenario, because if they do what ultimately people would suggest, and you just do all the fluff pieces where it's like, this cop was doing good, this cop was doing good, they'll get blasted for shooting it that way and only showing the good stuff. And I think if they leave it going the way it was, you still run the risk of everyone being like, well, it's still bad policing. I think taking it off was literally like the safest of all the bets that you could take with. I mean, you couldn't do it live. I mean, like, you run the risk of someone doing something fractionally wrong, and now you've resparked everything.
Which is why I kind of get the live PD side of things, like maybe take the live aspect down for a little while, like while things like, at least chill out a little bit. But Cops is a pre-recorded show. It doesn't seem like that's. I mean, why would they not
Cops
just like edit around it or whatever,
Well, because Cops would get it worse, because it's edited, because it's produced, because someone sat down.
I see.
Now we know that somebody cherry picked what they wanted us all to see.
Yeah, and like I gotta say, it's like you made a great point, and it's definitely a telling of the times is that it's got to be about optics right now. It has to be, and right now it's not about all these stories about, oh, well, here are all these really great cops. And, I see a lot of shit where it's like still kind of pushing the narrative of like, but look at these cops and they're kneeling with people and they're like holding people's hands and shit like that. It's like the real thing that needs to be focused on is the system that has gone wrong. And it goes to that conversation of, oh, well, there's good cops and then there's some bad cops. It's the attack on the entire system. It's an attack on unions. It's an attack on
the corporate structure of American life to a degree.
How this was all created from the beginning, and it's this thin blue line thing, and it's just like, I'm sorry, it's not their time to be put in a good light. It's their time to be put in the spotlight, to be held to this, to be held to the protest, and to force change. Because when you start making cops look like the good guys, and you're just defeating the purpose right now. And I'm sorry, it's not the time for that. It's not the time to have TV shows about cops. It's not the time to have a great movie about cops that do something good. No, we should flip the script. It should be about the other people that were persecuted by the cops now. Now it's time for that story.
I thank you guys for like enlightening me on that, because like, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. And both of you made like, really, really great points with that. And I do agree now. I think that I can see the logic. Do you think either of those shows ever come back?
Maybe. I think I would. Here's the thing. We've lived in the past, several years now in cancel culture. We saw it with Hollywood, with sexual assaulters and predators. And the fucking weird thing is it's like, in my opinion, some of those people should not come back. They should stay under the fucking rocks that they went back under.
But then there are others who.
But then there are people that find redemption. They
just because they were accused of something, they're basically blacklisted for the rest of their lives, and that's not fair either. Just because a lot of like there have been people where it's like, no, I really didn't do.
I'm not saying that you should never be able to step back foot into what you did before, but you need to walk the walk, and you need to redeem yourself. Yeah. And I think right now, and I don't know for how long, I think it can't be about, again, like the good guy cops. I think there needs to be some solace in this. There needs to be a walk of redemption. There needs to be a fixing of the system. And hey, you know what, man? Maybe in 10 years when things have been corrected and they can do this again, sure, why not?
I just think as a general like an opportunity, if I was a producer for live PD or even cops, why not at this point, because it's crazy, it's going on out there, why would you not want to then showcase the reality of what is happening in these protests, in these types of things? Like, I think that could be, I do feel like there's a possibility to make that beneficial. And I know what you're saying is like, now is not the time to highlight, look at all these good cops, they're doing all the good shit, and check it out, look at, they're playing basketball with inner city kids and like all that shit. I totally understand that. Like, it's not the time for that. But if you could, I feel like there is a way to have, I don't know, I don't want to say the best of both worlds, but at least a showcase of that type of thing. Because
what else would you show right now? I'm sorry. I mean, I look at the news, and I mean, sure, there's a couple of good moments, like I said, where they're cherry picked, and it's like, oh yeah, look at these things that are happening. I mean, dude, I don't mean to say this either, but if you're a live PD producer, I mean, what are you going to do? Have an entire hour of villainizing all the cops and showing them how awful they're being and how they're fucking beating the shit out of people, white, black, old, young. I mean, dude, that ain't making a good program. That ain't helping your cause.
Yeah, but you say that, but there's plenty of like peaceful protests that are going on where the cops are kneeling down with the with the protesters. So why wouldn't you show that?
Back to the whole like puff piece thing. Like, is it really time for a puff piece? And to me, it's like
I get that.
It goes to that thing that was on the news a couple days ago where it was a bunch of guys. Of course, it was a bunch of white cops in New York, a cop union, all standing up and saying, "Look how sorry you should feel for us. Look how bad we've been treated." Don't steal the fucking narrative back. I'm sorry. It's just not. I have zero remorse for that shit right now.
Mhm.
It's not about that. Just sorry. It sucks to be in the bad spotlight, but own it. And that's the thing. And the minute we just let them slip away from it and let them turn themselves back into being victims themselves, this whole thing happened for nothing. It just did.
And that's important to acknowledge. And I don't want to trivialize any of that stuff either, because it is super important. And it's like the Ono radio show, and I'm sure all of our like fan base realistically, and if you're not, then fuck off, are in support of Black Lives Matter movement. And we want to do everything that we can to, show our support in that regard. The only thing I'm worried about is where am I going to see the meth head that kicked the cat on TV, get picked up, for kicking the cat. And
will I ever see another guy like hilariously stumble through a field sobriety test?
Exactly.
Am I ever gonna get that again?
I don't know. And this is what I need in my life.
I'm not saying. I'm saying, Owen, I think there is a way.
Yeah.
I think it would have to turn into like the America's Funniest home videos of cops.
That would be great.
Sure, there you go. That's a different approach on it.
That's genius.
It would have to be the most overly comical, like, oh man, and even that, I think you could maybe do like one episode and then you're out of usable footage before you're starting to teeter on the line.
Because now it just becomes Reno 911, I guess.
It's.
And by the way, that was indeed.
Yeah.
Barille time, Barille time. What time is it? Barille time. What time is it?
Barille time. It's Barille time.
Barille time.
Talk about some stuff. He's maybe Italian. He's got some scruff. It's Barille time. Barille time. It's Barille time.
Wow. I don't.
Presented to you live on the Ono Radio Show.
After I'm talking about Black Lives Matter, the optics of that is really bad.
I love it.
And that's what makes us the show that we are, Tom. That's what it makes us. It's been a fun evening. Do we want to get into anything else before we wrap things up? I feel like we've probably done enough show.
It's so many topics.
Yeah, I feel like we probably got enough. I was gonna do maybe if I didn't get a call from Johnny Moonbags earlier, I was gonna do a another edition of Urban Diction, but I feel like that'll hold over to another week. And I guess the only other thing in my notes is that I saw I didn't see it personally, but someone posted a picture of on social media of a hammer-headed bat. Are you guys aware of this
Sounds
creature?
No.
Yeah. I don't know if I will sleep tonight, and I will show it to you. I'm gonna have to do it because it is. Oh God, it's the most frightening thing I think I've encountered in quite some time.
Fucking terrifying looking.
Yeah, bats, by the way, get your shit together. Why you gotta be so fucking creepy? Apparently you're good for the environment and you're not that bad, but
Get the fuck out of little bugs.
yeah, I hear they're actually pretty cool. Like
They're big pollinators too.
Yeah.
Right, they do. That's true.
The hammer-headed bat is something that a friend of mine it's nicknamed also the moose bat.
Oh, that's a way cooler name than the hammer-headed bat.
I know, but it's got a head and a face like a goddamn moose. Ty, you're familiar with moose?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me.
You live where they live.
Yeah. Let me do the whole thing. Here.
Those motherfuckers are huge.
Oh
Moose,
my God.
they are.
Pictures of them, you're like, that thing is like a prehistoric fucking animal, dude. It's the legs on it are so big.
It's a big beast.
Yeah.
I feel like some of the large moose Oh, wow, that does look ugly as fuck.
Yeah, you can
Ew.
see that. You can see that.
Yeah, I can see it.
Well, yeah, Mikey, you're watching on the thing, right? On the
Yeah.
Twitch or whatever. I'm not. Yeah, hang on. I haven't done the screen share thing yet. It's so much of a pain in the ass.
No, they say moose in Maine, like the big thing that happens with a lot of accidents that happen up there in the high Northeast is that you'll hit a moose and you hit its legs and it falls onto your hood of your car. I've seen pictures of like moose accidents on the fucking highway. It looks like a goddamn meteorite fell out of the sky.
Yeah, things ridiculous.
The engine block out of the car. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'll show you guys right now. Like here's this thing. Look at this monstrosity of a like thing that exists in the world.
It looks like a hippopotamus with wings.
Yeah.
That looks awesome and metal as fuck.
It does look like a moose, dude. It's totally got a moose face.
It does look exactly like a moose.
It is metal as fuck.
He does look like he's coming to like suck my innards out.
Damn.
Yes, look at that.
Moose.
That's metal.
Bro, and it looks like it's like as big as a cat. The way he's like when he's holding it by the nape of
It's
its
not
neck.
small. It's not small. I'm loading up.
Yeah, what's the size comparison? Damn, it does look big.
Whoa.
Look at
Whoa.
that shit, dude. Look at that. Like that looks like
Okay,
Alf it's Alf with wings.
Yeah. No problem. Flying at. He's gonna eat your cat and then fly away.
Thing is just
Bro, imagine seeing that coming at you flying. I would freak the fuck out.
Even the little one. Like, oh, get the fuck out of here, thing. Like, oh,
Dude, the little ones look even worse.
I
God,
know.
I'm a nightmare. Oh,
Oh,
oh god.
like, oh.
That's pretty wild, man.
Yeah,
That is
it's
fucking
almost
wild.
like a dog. Like it's a dog bat.
It looks like the meth head of bats.
It,
It is.
the Bithlo of bats.
Yeah.
Hey, Spud. Want a cold
Oh god, yeah. So I saw that. Oh, one more. Here we go. Oh damn, I missed it. Hang on, one sec. Look at this thing, right there. That one.
Oh
Like,
god.
Oh, it's just that's a.
Well,
God,
that one looks okay, kind
Got
of.
like brown ass eyes too.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Some of them look like they have those red murder eyes.
What the fuck? That person just cut its head off and put it on the floor like
Yeah, they made a paperweight of it.
Oh, fuck every bit of that.
Yeah.
What
Look
a
at
great
that.
story that must have conversation starter that must be.
Look at that thing. Yeah. So that's
Don't fucking do that.
yeah. I'll read you a little bit before we get out of here, just so you understand the what this thing is. I'll read you a little bit about its whole deal. Hammerhead
Straight
Bats.
from hell.
Yeah. So it is. It's in Africa, so that's good. It's the largest bat in continental Africa, with wingspans approaching 1 meter, or about
Holy fuck.
3 feet.
Ugh.
And males almost are twice as heavy than the females. Males apparently greatly differ in appearance, making it the most sexually dimorphic bat in the world. So it's a condition where two sexes of the same species exhibit different characteristics. Think about ducks, you know, how like a mallard ducks, like the males are all the pretty ones and the females are all the ugly ones, you know, like the brown ones.
Right.
And
As it should be.
goddamn right, not gay at all.
Not gay in the slightest.
Apparently it's eats like some fruits such as figs, bananas, and mangoes, but every once in a while it can get unpredictable and basically eat meat. It can become a carnivore, which is pretty fucking terrifying. And yeah, it's a thing that exists, and
Wow.
And yeah, we should all be like, we've all heard about the murder hornets that are on our way, but but if these motherfuckers invade, then we're done. We're
Or
done.
maybe they come to fight the murder hornets,
I'd be okay with that.
and we just have to let them battle, like God, Mothra and Godzilla. You just let them fight.
They are pretty much the most ugly thing that's ever existed. It says its predators are not well documented, but may include avian species such as the long-tailed hawk. So
Hawks are badass, man.
yeah, gonna keep my my hawk Tony Hawk hanging
Tony.
around here.
Tony will protect you from the moose bat.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
I got you, bro. I'm up here in the tree. I got you.
Yeah. It it can be a potential reservoir of the Ebola virus, and I don't know if I want...
reservoir.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
yeah. That just sounds gross, doesn't it? You're a potential reservoir of the Ebola.
Sounds like a large resource.
Sounds gross as fuck.
Yeah, plentiful.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that was the last thing I
face
wanted to
of a
talk
large
about on
reservoir
tonight's
for
show. A little,
pigs.
just thought I'd give you a little animal update, and
Thanks.
what's your favorite Muppet? We'll leave on this.
Animal. Animal.
I always liked Gonzo, man. I just thought he did crazy shit. Gonzo was the shit.
You're a Gonzo guy.
Either Rizzo the Rat, Pepe the Shrimp, or Sam the Eagle.
All right,
Cool.
all good choices. I'm not gonna lie, but
What about you?
I'm a Kermit guy. I'm a Kermit guy.
Oh, dude, it's so vanilla, dude.
Can't
Really?
go, yeah, but you can't go wrong with Kermit. I mean, come on, it's Kermit. He's the best.
Hey, Kermit liked big ladies, so.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh, don't tell Teresa that. Like, that's not nice. Don't you say that. Like, no, Teresa is far from a Miss Piggy.
We've all had a Miss Piggy. Sorry.
I like this. We'll leave this. For the end of the show, incompletely full of bullshit. Without the T on Twitch said, "Wow, what's going on in here? It's like a bad facial hair convention crashed into an Oh No trailer park." And I guess I couldn't agree more. These things are probably true.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us, whoever that is. We appreciate it.
A fucking moose bat.
We're going to get out of here for the evening. We thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Oh No Radio Show. This is some Jeff Rosenstock. It's a song called Old Crap. I hope you enjoy it. Guys, what do we say when we get out of here for the evening?
Eat a bag of dicks.
We'll see you next week. Enjoy this, and we'll get back to you later.
Rip your friends off, write a new song, call it shame, and claim it's indelible truth. Play the victim, be ashamed.